This is a story from r/nosleep, posted by user Wolf Loving Shadow Lord. I ignored the warnings about the stairs in the woods, part 1. I know a lot of people have talked about a set of stairs in some wooded area, and that bad things always happen. I mean, I've read the reports and heard interviews, but I'm a realist. I didn't believe anything they said and chalked it all up to isolation and deep darkness causing hallucinations. I mean, come on. Some of them even took cameras with them to prove what they saw. I'm not a skeptic. I believe in all things paranormal and supernatural, but when people go on like that, I sense a lot of fabrication. So I intend to disprove the stories by finding my own set of stairs. And as you can tell, I found a set. And also, as you can tell, shit hit the fan. If you're a noisy reader, I suggest you have a bottle of water, because this is going to be a long one. Maybe even a multi-parter. I was in some woods that everyone tended to avoid, mainly because of some cult shit, and it used to be pagan grounds like many other places. I mean, when you live in an area that used to be home to Malkin witches and other lesser known witches that were all tried and burned, people tend to avoid the exposed, cursed places. I mean, yeah, I believe in witchcraft. Even dabbled in it a little bit, but that was after this story. At the time, I just believed in it, but enjoyed disproving things. Still do, actually. And not thrown off from how far I'd go, but I'll get into that another time. Anyways, I was in the woods. I was taking pictures on a camera I had with me, as the things I was packing was 2 to 5 days worth of food, a week's worth of water and juice, a sleeping bag, tent, and a heat lantern, the one used when fires can be made, a flashlight, and an airsoft MK-14 rifle, with 3 clips and a pouch I had with me in case some whack jobs tried fucking with me. But the reason I weren't packing a real gun is because they're illegal, and the cuffs would be on me straight away. But with an airsoft rifle, I could say, hey, on my way to an airsoft match, even though I've never been to one. This rifle wasn't mine. It was one I borrowed from a friend while I was trying to take a picture of a deer. I almost stumbled into a hole that I realized was the stairs. I checked the time and it was 5:30 p.m. It was too late for me to turn back, and I didn't think I'd find these stairs again. Even if I did, even worse. There wasn't anywhere smooth to set up camp, as tree stumps were everywhere, or there were tons of bushes in the way. So I started heading down them, and holy shit was my anxiety going through the roof. 27 steps, walls on either side, and a darkness that looked like Cthulhu was dwelling inside it, with the way the darkness seemed to reach out into the light. But then again, I have fear of the unknown, so I figured something dark was probably playing tricks on my mind. So I just reached the final step that was in the light. I turned on my flashlight and shined it in. I felt much better and descended the rest of the steps. Once at the bottom, I surveyed the room I was in, and holy shit. It was like a haunted waiting room with chairs and a desk. Felt like Silent Hill a bit, actually. Think I even said, wouldn't be surprised if Pyramid Head came around the corner. I started setting up my sleeping bag and the heat lantern. Then I went back and took more photos until 8 p.m., where I went back down the stairs and turned the lantern on. Before I got in my sleeping bag, I had stopped to listen for movement. And once I knew there wasn't any beyond some wildlife feeding, I slept. At 3 a.m., yes, I know, cliche. Anyway, at 3 a.m., I was awoken by sounds of tiny scratching on the metal, so I slowly grabbed my air rifle, staring in the direction the stairs were, when I realized the sound wasn't coming from the stairs, it was coming from behind me. I slowly turned, flashlight in one hand and rifle in the other, like I was auditioning to be Rambo or the next Arnold Schwarzenegger in a military movie, and shone my flashlight on the beast. A bit, okay, I know better than to get people's hopes up. I shone it on a fucking rat, and that was scratching at the door. My mind at this point was like, yeah, I'm gonna shoot something. Oh, it's just a rat scratching at a massive door. Wait, where the fuck did this door come from? I sat up in my sleeping bag, and went over to the rat and the door. It looked like one of those doors on a submarine where it's a valve-controlled deadbolt meant to keep air and water out or in. Depends on where people are. I stupidly pet the rat. No, it didn't attack me and give me a disease. But you see, I'm in England, and England is known for wild rats spreading the Black Plague. Anyway, I pet it and slung my rifle over my shoulder and put my flashlight in my mouth, beginning to tug on the valve, grunting, "Fuck, this is rusted." I felt it tugging on my jean leg, and when I looked, I saw the rat climbing up, and I, in my half-asleep state, helped it up onto my shoulder before proceeding to go at the valve some more. About an hour passed before I got it open, and I jumped back as the skeleton fell forward, its skull rolling at my feet. Before I tell you this next part, I'm a sociopath, okay? You died by suicide, and I'll feel sorry for you and be serious about your death. But this, well, I couldn't pass it up. Well, guess this guy had no body to head home with, huh? I looked at my new rat buddy for approval on my double joke, but they were just staring down the hallway, and I sighed. Tough crowd. I took the flashlight and shined it down the now open hallway, and holy shit, there were loads of skeletons. It was like everyone was desperate to escape, and I immediately thought, holy shit, did I find some more bunker? But before I could get any more excited, I heard a lot of movement. So I got my rifle ready in my hands to shoot some rabid survivor or whatever in the eyes. Then I saw it, a fucking horde of rats. Some flesh missing, others looked about to die, and some absolutely starved. So I thought they'd attack me and eat me and my food. Nope, the fucks ran on me and my food, darting up the stairs. And now that's where I got worried. If a horde of rats were just shown fresh food, they'd fucking take it. But if they're going to forget the fresh food and get away from somewhere, that means something terrifying was behind them. And I know you're thinking, oh, you went to shut the door but got grabbed. Well, no, I'm a guy who follows their instincts, not their wits, and my instincts were telling me to explore, so that's what I did. Well, first I got my bag and ammo pouch because I didn't know what the fuck could happen. Then I propped everything I could against that door so it didn't slam shut behind me, and I went in. I was being careful of the bones, keeping my rifle in one hand and a flashlight in the other. Then I stopped. I went back to check the only skeleton that was even near the door. And then I saw the spine was snapped in 3 places. Ribs were cracked and broken inwards, and the skull was busted open. Something slammed the person against the door, which had been shut. And I went on to investigate each skeleton. They were either torn apart, missing limbs, or had bones destroyed. And then I heard a metallic slam. I knew that was the door, and I knew someone or something had shut it behind me. So I turned the flashlight, landed on a creature like a Wendigo crossed with a werewolf. And I know that's a skinwalker, but this thing was different. First off, its eyes were milky white, like a Wendigo's, aren't yellow like a werewolf's, and certainly weren't human like a skinwalker's. So I turned and ran down the fucking hallway, stopping every time the creature tripped over some bones to laugh at it before running again. Every time the creature tripped over some bones to laugh at it before running again. Eventually, I entered another waiting area-esque room, and I slammed some shit down into the entrance, but the thing grabbed my rat buddy, and I started shooting at it. You were not taking away my only fucking companion in this shithole, and I eventually got it in the eye, causing it to drop the rat, which I caught as the beast began screeching in pain. I can't describe the screech exactly, but if any of you had a younger sibling break an arm, it's like that but worse. I put the rat in my bag, in a little pocket he could peek his head out of. When I looked at the creature, I realized the thing's eye had popped. It was that fragile, yet it was able to move quickly and quietly. I could see its other intact eye was changing colors. That's what sold it for me, that it weren't anything I read up on. And I still haven't, because I'm scared of what I'll find, to be honest. I don't know anything as skinny as a Wendigo, as hairy and ferocious as a werewolf, and as intelligent as a skinwalker with rainbow eyes, but I knew it certainly weren't human. Now I know I said intelligent, and yet it seemed stupid. Well, once the pain subsided, the creature crawled up into a vent, and that's when I knew it used the vents to get behind me and shut the door. Though why it didn't just leave, I was absolutely confused. I fed myself and the rat, gave us both some water, and then I put the bag down and scanned the room with my flashlight. Vent grates were bolted, and I watched as it tried to burst out of a few, but they were sealed. So I got a breather. I put the rifle down, beginning to switch the mags, and before I could finish, I heard a thud just ahead of the room, through only open hallway, and I groaned, turning on a couple lamps that were in the room, and I was more surprised the power was working than I was about the creature's existence. It entered the room, and we had a stare down. My 2 eyes versus its half rainbow. Guess I'm gonna have to go first, 2 claws, huh? I put my flashlight down and got ready. I've taken on multiple guys before. Some even had karate expertise and some other martial arts shit, mainly boxing, so I weren't new to being an underdog in a fight. But that fight was ridiculous. The thing lunged at me, swinging its claws and trying to bite me. I was lucky to dodge as much as I did, but the thing did catch me with a kick, and I hit the wall hard. I wasn't dazed, because I got a very hard head, and it was a hit that woke a side of me that I rarely show. Just as the thing went to kill me with its claws, I dashed forward and ran my head against one of its legs. The thing was like 7 foot. I wasn't even 5'9", so it weren't that hard to do, and I heard and felt bones snap under the impact before the creature crumbled to the floor, and that's when I latched onto its left arm, bending it, pushing the upward arm forward and bending the lower arm backward until that also broke. Though, in the process, it tried to swipe at me with its other arm, so I just bit into that and broke it with my teeth. Used to bite a lot of things, so my jaw and teeth was sort of strengthened. Once the thing's body was broken, I looked into its final multicolored eye and brought my boot down upon its head, crushing its skull. Once that whole ordeal was over, I checked the time and it was 6:27 a.m. I went back to my rat friend and set him down, petting him as I began dozing off before muttering 1 night down. However, 1 more until I get answers and get out. Now that wasn't the worst thing that happened in there. I know you're wondering why I didn't just go out of the way. I came but turned out the valve on the inside had been busted by a lot of damage and became less without rending my flesh with all that rust on it. My hands needed to stay clean. Anyway, I've told you enough for now. I'll tell you any more and you're going to be bitched at because holy shit did I get answers in that place. Before I let you go, please tell me if there's a creature that has the features of a Wendigo, ferocity and hair of a werewolf, and intelligence of a skinwalker with multicolored eyes, because I now want to know, but I'm scared to search for it myself, and as you can tell, that question wasn't answered while I was down there. Thank you for listening to the first part of this series. Please like the video and subscribe, and tell me what else you'd like me to read. All credits will be in the description. Thank you.